ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयो मुदीरये। अष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्कायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीकृष्णतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। ॐ तत्सत्। नमोऽयं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भुक्तिचारु स्वामिनिति नामिने स्निग्धचेतसुप्रणीत वाग्मीनां चरसात्मृतं प्रभुपादगत प्राणो नौमि भक्तिचारुपदं नमोऽयं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे मुखम करते वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातामहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। ओम तत्सत्। हरे कृष्णा। वेलकम to our Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya regular class. So today we will read Srimad Bhagavatam 4.7.52, uh, where the sacrifice performed by Daksha, chapter name. So today's verse is Tasmin Brahmamani Advitya Kevale Paramatmani Brahmarudrau cha Bhutani Vedine Jnanonupashvati. Translation. The Lord continued, one who is not in proper knowledge thinks that demigods like Brahma and Shiva are independent, or he even thinks that the living entities are independent. Purport. The living entities, including Brahma, are not independently separated, but are counted within the marginal potency of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord, being the super soul in every living entity, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, is directing everyone in the activities of the material modes of nature. No one can act independently of the sanction of the Lord, and therefore, indirectly, no one is different from the Supreme Person. Certainly not Brahma and Rudra, who are incarnations of the material nature's mode of passion and ignorance. Slok 53. यथा पुमान्ना स्वंगेषु शिरपानि अधिषु क्वचित् पराख्या बुद्धिं कुरुते एवं भूतेषु मत्परा. Translation. A person with average intelligence does not think the head and other parts of the body to be separate. Similarly, my devotee does not differentiate Vishnu, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, from anything or any living entity. Purport. Whenever there is disease in any part of the body, the whole body takes care of the ailing part. Similarly, a devotee's oneness is manifested in his compassion for all conditioned souls. Bhagavad Gita 5.18 says, Pandita Samadarsina. Those who are learned see everyone's conditional life quality equally. Devotees are compassionate to every conditioned soul, and therefore they are known as Aparaksha Buddhi. Because devotees are learned and know that every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. They preach Krishna consciousness to everyone so that everyone may be happy. If a particular part of the body is diseased, the whole attention of the body goes to that part. Similarly, devotees care for any person who is forgetful of Krishna and therefore in material consciousness. The equal vision of the devotee is that He works to get all living entities back home, back to Godhead. Slok number 54. Rayanam ekabhavanam yuna pashyati vaividam sarvabhutatmanam brahman sasantim adhigacchati. Translation, Lord continued. One who does not consider Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, or the living entities in general to be separate from the Supreme, and who knows Brahman actually realizes peace, others do not. But two words are very significant in this verse. Trayanam indicates three, namely Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu. Vidam means different, they are three, and therefore they are separate, but at the same time, they are one. This is the philosophy of simultaneous oneness and difference, which is called Achinta Vedavet Tattva. The example given in the Brahma Samhita is that milk and yogurt are simultaneously one and different. Both are milk, but the yogurt has become changed. In order to achieve real peace, one should see everything and every living entity, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is independent. Every one of us is an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This accounts for unity in diversity. There are diverse manifestations, but at the same time, they are one in Vishnu. Everything is an expansion of Vishnu's energy. Maitra Vacha. Evam Bhagavata Prajapati Patir Harin Ar Architva Kratuna Swena Devan Ubhayato Yayat. Translation. The sage Maitreya said, thus Daksha, the head of all Prajapatis, having been nicely instructed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, worshipped Lord Vishnu after worshipping him by performing the prescribed sacrificial ceremonies. Daksha separately worshipped Lord Brahma and Shiva. Purport. Lord Vishnu should be offered everything and his prasada should be distributed to all the demigods. This practice is still followed in the temple of Jagannath at Puri. There are many temples of demigods around the main temple of Jagannath, and the prasada which is offered first to Jagannath is distributed to all the demigods. The deity of Bhagalin is worshipped with the prasada of Vishnu, and also in the famous Lord Shiva temple of Bhubaneswara, the prasada of Lord Vishnu and Lord Jagannath is offered to the deity of the Lord or Lord Shiva. This is the Vaishnava principle. Now, Vaishnava does not deride even ordinary living entities, including the small ant. Everyone is offered proper respect according to his position. The offering, however, is in relation to the center, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna or Vishnu. The devotee who is highly elevated sees the relationship to Krishna in everything. He does not see anything as being independent of Krishna. That is his vision of oneness. Slok 56. Rudram cha sena bhagena I upadvat samahita karmano davasanena samapan itaran api udavasya sahart vigvi sasnav abhritam tata. Translation. With all respect, Daksha worshipped Lord Shiva with his share of the remnants of the yajna. After finishing the ritualistic sacrificial activities, he satisfied all the other demigods and the other people assembled there. Then, after finishing all these duties with the priests, he took a bath and was fully satisfied. Purport. Lord Rudra, Shiva, was properly worshipped with his share of the remnants of the yajna. Yajna is Vishnu, and whatever prasada is offered to Vishnu is offered to everyone, even to Lord Shiva. Sridhar Swami also comments in this connection. Svena Bhagena, the remnants of the yajna are offered to all the demigods and others. Slok 57. तस्मयपि अनुभावेन श्रीनैर्भवक्तारद राधसे धर्म एव मतिं दत्वा त्रिदासस्ते दिवं ययुः. Translation: thus worshipping the Supreme Lord Vishnu by the ritualistic performance of sacrifice, Daksha was completely situated on the religious path. Moreover, all the demigods who had assembled at the sacrifice blessed him that he might increase his piety, and then they left. But although Daksha was considerably advanced in religious principles, he awaited the blessings of the demigods. Thus, the great sacrifice conducted by Daksha ended in harmony and peace. Slok 58. एवं दक्षयनि हित्वा सती पूर्वा कलेवरम यज्ञे हिमावता क्षेत्रे मेनयम इति सुश्रुमा. Translation: Maitreya said, I have heard that after giving up the body she had received from Daksha, Dakshayani, his daughter, took her birth in the kingdom of the Himalayas. She was born as a daughter of Mena. I heard this from authoritative sources. But Mena is also known as Menaka and is the wife of the king of the Himalayas. Slok number 59. Tam evadahitam bhuya avrikte patim ambika ananya bhavakai gatim sakti sukte va purusham. Translation: Ambika, goddess Durga, who was known as Dakshayani, Sati, again accepted Lord Shiva as her husband. Just as different energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead act during the course of a new creation. Purport: according to a verse of Vedic mantras, Paras Sakti Vividaiva Suyate, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has different varieties of energies. Shakti is feminine, and the Lord is Purusa, masculine. It is the duty of the female to serve under the Supreme Purusa. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, all living entities are marginal energies of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, it is the duty of all living entities to serve this Supreme Person. Durga is the representation in the material world of both the marginal and external energies. And Lord Shiva is the representation of the Supreme Person. The connection the connection of Lord Shiva and Ambika or Durga is eternal. Sati could not accept any husband but Lord Shiva. How Lord Shiva remarried Durga as how Lord Shiva remarried Durga as Himavati, the daughter of Himalayas, and how Kartikeya was born is a great story in itself. एतद् भगवता शंभो कर्म दक्षध्वरा ध्रुवा श्रुतं भगवत शिष्यद शिष्यद उद्धवन में बृहस्पते. Translation: Maitra said, my dear Vidura, I heard this story of the Daksha Yajna, which was devastated by Lord Shiva from Uddhava, a great devotee and a disciple of Brihaspati. Slok number 61. idam pavitram param isa chestitam yashasyam ayushyam aghogha amarsanam yo nityada karnya naro nukritayed dhunoti agham kaurava bhakti bhavata. Translation. The great sage Maitreya concluded, if one hears and again narrates which with faith and devotion the story of the Daksha Yajna as it was conducted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, then certainly one is cleared of all contamination of material existence, the son of Kuru. Uh, Purport. Thus, ends the Bhakti Vedanta purports of the fourth canto, seventh chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Sacrifice of Performed by Daksha. So, we will go to in chapter 8 continuously. We will be reading. Chapter 8 is Dhruva Maharaj leaves home from the forest. So, we will read from text 1. Matra Uvacha. Sanakadya Naradascha Rivurhamso Runir Naite Grihan Brahma Sita Ai Avasan Urdhava Retasha. Translation. The great sage Maitra said, the four great Kumara sages head, headed by Sanaka as well as Narada, Rivu, Hamsa, Aruni, and Yati, all sons of Brahma did not live at home, but became Urdhareta or Nashtika brahmacharis, unadulterated celibates. Purport. The system of brahmacharya has been current since the birth of Brahma. A section of the population, especially male, did not marry at all. Instead of allowing their semen to be driven downwards, they used to lift the semen up to the brain. They are called Retasa, those who lift up. Semen is so important that if by the yogic process one can lift the semen up to the brain, he can perform wonderful work. One's memory is enabled to act very swiftly, and the duration of life is increased. Yogis can thus perform all kinds of austerity with steadiness and be elevated to the highest perfectional stage, even to the spiritual world. Vivid examples of brahmacharis who accepted this principle of life are the four sages Sanaka, Sanandan, Sanatan, and Sanat Kumar, as well as Narad and others. Another significant phrase here is Naite Grihan Hai Avasan. They did not live at home. Griha means home as well as wife. In fact, home means wife. Home does not mean a room or a house. One who lives with a wife lives at home, otherwise a sannyasi or brahmachari, even though he may live in a room or in a house, does not live at home. That they did not live at home means that they did not accept a wife, and so there was no question of their discharging semen. Semen is meant to be discharged when one has a home, a wife, and the intention to beget children. Otherwise, there is no injunction for discharging semen. These principles were followed from the beginning of creation, and such brahmacharis never created progeny. This narration has dealt with the descendants of Lord Brahma from Manu's daughter Prasuti. Prasuti's daughter was Dakshini or Sati, in relation to whom the story of Daksha Yajna was narrated. Maitra is now explaining about the progeny of the sons of Brahma. Out of the many sons of Brahma, the brahmachari sons headed by Sinaka and Narada did not marry at all, and therefore there is no question of narrating the history of their descendants. Look number 4.8.2. Mrisha dharmasya bharayasid dhammammayam cha satruhan asutamethunam tattu nirtirjagrehe praja. Translation. Another son of Lord Brahma was Irreligion, whose wife's name was Falsity. From their combination were born two demons named Damba or bluffing and Maya or cheating. These two demons were taken by a demon named Nirti, who had no children. But it is understood herein that Adharma, Irreligion, was also a son of Brahma, and he married his sister Mrisha. Mrisha. This is the beginning of sex life between brother and sister. This unnatural combination of sex life can be possible in human society only where there is adharma or irreligion. It is understood that in the beginning of creation, Brahma created not only saintly sons like Sanaka, Sanatan, and Narada, but also demonic offspring like Niti, Adharma, Damba, and falsity. Everything was created by Brahma in the beginning. Regarding Narada, it is understood that because his previous life was very pious and his association very good, he was born as Narada. Others were also born in their own capacities. According to their backgrounds, the law of karma continues after birth, and when there is a new creation, the same karma comes back with the living entities. They are born in different capacities according to karma, even though their father is originally Brahma, who is the exalted qualitative incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Look number 3. तयोषम तयोषमाभवल्लोभो निकृतिश्च महामते तभ्यं क्रोधश्च हिंसा च यद्दुरुक्ति स्वशाकली. Translation. Maitra told Vidura, O great soul, from Damba and Maya were born greed and Nikriti or cunning. From their combination came children named Krodha and Himsa, and from their combination were born Kali and his sister Durukti, her speech. Uh, Krodha, Himsa. Hmm. Look number 4. दुरुक्तौ कलिराधत्ता भयं मृत्युं च सत्तमा तयोश्च मिथुनं यज्ञे यातनानिरयस्तथा. Translation. O greatest of all good men, by the combination of Kali and harsh speech were born children named Mrityu and Viti. From the combination of Mrityu and Viti came children named Yatana, excessive pain, and Niraya, hell. संग्रहेण मया ख्याता प्रतिसर्गस्तवा नघा त्रिसुत वैतत् पुमान् पुण्यम विदु विधुनोति आत्मनो मलम. Translation. My dear Vidura, I have summarily explained the cause of devastation. One who hears the description 3 times attends piety and washes the sinful contamination from his soul. Purport. The creation takes place on the basis of goodness, but devastation takes place because of irreligion. That is the way of material creation and devastation. And it is stated that the cause of devastation is adharma or irreligion. The descendants of irreligion and falsity, born one after another, are bluffing, cheating, greed, cunning, anger, envy, quarrel, harsh speech, death, fear, severe pain, and hell. All these descendants are described as signs of devastation. If a person is pious and hears about this cause of devastation, will feel hatred for all these, and that will causes advancement in a life of piety. Piety refers to the process of cleansing the heart, as recommended by Lord Chaitanya. One has to cleanse the dust from the mirror of the mind, and then advancement on the path of liberation begins. Here also the same process is recommended. Malam means contamination. We should learn to despise all the cause of devastation, beginning from irreligion and cheating, and then we shall be able to make advancement in a life of piety. The possibility of our attaining Krishna consciousness will be easier, and we shall not be subjected to repeated devastation. The present life is repeated birth and death, but if we seek the path of liberation, we may be saved from repeated suffering. So here we will stop our reading today. So next we will continue from text 6. So Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। प्रभुपाद श्री महाराज की आनंद कोटि वैष्णव भक्तवृंद